Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Today is February 16th. Pitchers and catchers have officially reported. Cardinals baseball is underway. And before you know it, we're going to have an opening day on March 30th.
Yeah, it's coming soon. I think that WBC is going to really do a good job of bridging our gap from like baseball. I think it's going to sneak up on us more than it normally does. Normally, like it's kind of slog once spring training starts to get to the regular season. I think it's going to be nice to have something at least to watch and to look forward to before March 30th, which seems forever away at this point.
Yeah, for me, I'm pretty excited because for over 20 years of my life, I missed all the opening days because I was coaching high school baseball. And then we went last year and coming up to go this year. One thing that's going to kind of get me through it and also get me through not being able to go to 20 to 30 Cardinal games a year is the fact that luckily in our backyard, we've got Tulane and then number one ranked LSU for college baseball. So I'm actually really excited about going to a lot of those games. LSU is only about 45 minutes away. Tulane, their stadium is maybe 3 minutes from my house. So pretty excited to get that to get me up to Cardinal baseball. Looks like I'm gonna have to buy the MLB package to get Cardinal games though, because they still can't get that right.
It's gonna be. I'm gonna have to watch all of them on my phone because of the damn blackouts.
It's unbelievable, and it's wild that we are worried about that. We're still talking about blackouts. Hopefully, they get that fixed. Robbie, and the boys are a little bit too worried about making sure pitchers don't or batters don't pitch and pitchers don't hit. And
I'm telling you what, with this new Bally Sports fucking Sinclair shit show that's going on right now, hopefully that can expedite the process of getting blackouts out of baseball.
Let's hope so. It's definitely
one
time.
positive
It's
can come out
needed.
of that.
Last time we talked about Tyler O'Neill and our thoughts on him, and obviously we've hit the outfield part. And I know that this is the most exciting. You've been really excited to get to the outfield because of just the youth, the question marks, but also the upside. So I'm going to let you introduce today who we're going through.
Yeah, so we're going to Lars Nootbaar, or Newt, as everyone knows him as.
Newt.
A big off season for Newt in terms of the Twitter sphere. He said he doesn't have Twitter, which is probably good.
Smart.
But that guy has been, I mean, he's a hot button topic. Some people think he's, it's kind of smoke and mirrors, all the hype around him. And other people, I mean, my God, some people think he's Babe Ruth. So I want to be in the middle a little bit. We made a video last year. I'm sure a lot of you guys didn't see it because nobody was watching our videos at the time. But if you want to go back and watch it, in the middle of the season, why Lars Nootbaar, the success he had, could continue. So I'm big on Lars Nootbaar. I have been for a while. There's some interesting comments that came out of winter warm-up about Lars Nootbaar that I want to hit on. Nolan Arenado specifically, but I'm really excited for this season of Lars Nootbaar to see, can he take a hold of the job? We've wanted a left-handed hitting outfielder to take a job forever. I mean, it's right there for him. They seem pretty confident in it too.
And for those of you who about 6 months ago were not watching the videos, shout out for finding us and coming back, by the way. Thank you very much. So while you're back, go ahead and hit that little subscribe button. We greatly appreciate that. But yeah, you can go back into the archives. It's one of the ones where probably there was like 80 people watch, 60 people watching, 40 people. Who knows?
12.
Right? Who knows?
I don't even know.
But shout out to you guys for doing that. We really appreciate you. It's wild because I just did a little digging today looking into Lars's StatCast numbers. I mean, and you can,
popping.
They really are. Like, 90th percentile in exit velo. Most of his are in the red. Whiff rate right in the middle. That's baseball now. But when you look at that and you look at him at Driveline with Nolan, and now half the team seems to be at Driveline, and you just look at what seems to be the work ethic. The only thing I am a little bit worried about with Lars Nootbaar is who, now that you are in Champaign, is going to get his glove for him every time he leaves it in the dugout.
Well, he figured it out last year without me, so I think he'll be fine.
Do you think he just had to get a new glove every game?
No, I think someone else probably got it for him.
Because he'd come in, Caleb, where's my glove? Right here.
Yeah, he'd forget everything. He came out wearing wrong jerseys. He wore TJ McFarland's jersey once on accident. He's a weird guy.
Yeah,
but
El Segundo is where he hails from. All I can think of when I hear is El Segundo is obviously the Tribe Called Quest song.
Something I realized
You just stepped right all over my sentence and my Tribe Called Quest thing. Like, what were you like just dying to get that sentence in?
Yes, because I was
don't
thinking.
let my sentence get in the way of the one you're wanting to get out of there.
I'm trying not to let Mike cook. So,
Good Lord.
But what I
It was a
wanted
Tribe Called Quest moment that we were having there with
have the
Lars
album.
Nootbaar. What more do you want in life?
I have a Tribe Called Quest album sitting right over there. But
Wow.
something we forgot to mention last episode: Tyler O'Neill playing for Team Canada, which is pretty cool.
Correct.
Something big. Lars Nootbaar playing for Team Japan. One of the first, if not the first, American-born player to play for Japan, I believe. Team Japan in the WBC, which is pretty cool. So we'll see how that goes for him. But I think that's something we didn't mention last time that's really intriguing to me is how the WBC is going to affect the outfield, because you've got Tyler O'Neill and Lars Nootbaar, two guys I think as of right now we feel confident, given health, will be in the starting outfield to start the year. And you've got guys like Dylan Carlson and Jordan Walker, who are both really going to be trying to push in spring training, and they're in front of the coaches every single day. I don't know how that's going to play out. Like, what if Lar goes to the WBC and struggles? I don't know how they're going to navigate that, because that competition obviously way stiffer in the WBC than it is in spring training.
You had a little issue there, I think, with your Wi-Fi for a second, so I lost you for just a second, but I got the gist of what you were saying. I think guys like, Carlson and Walker, yes, but I also think guys like Burleson. I think guys like Yepez, who are going to get a lot of time in the outfield. I also believe, we've talked about this before, and you might see Nolan Gorman and Brendan Donovan get some more time in the outfield as well. I think those are options that you could see, because we've talked about Goldie's going to be gone. Nolan's going to be gone. Tommy's going to be gone.
That means Paul DeYoung all spring training, baby.
You were going to get to see a lot of Paul DeYoung at shortstop. Yep.
We haven't seen enough the last 2 years. We get more.
Today, we're not talking about Paulie. We're talking about Lars. But like I was saying, that StatCast, I mean, if you just want to go look it up, it is interesting to see. Again, it doesn't mean everything. We know that the back of the baseball card, you can manipulate stats. These are not manipulative stats. These are, here's what they are. And he is in the top percentile in Major League Baseball in a whole lot of them.
Yeah, they're predictive stats, which is kind of like this is what the team. Here's what my problem with people that say don't like analytics like this. Do you remember when people would say, "Oh, the ball just sounded different off of Babe Ruth's bat"?
Yeah.
Like the scouts. Well, you know what that is? That's exit velocity. They knew it. They just didn't have anything to measure it. Now we can measure it, right? We can measure this is how hard he's hitting it. This is what that means. This is the chance of success when you hit the ball as hard as he does. Back then it was just, Babe Ruth, the ball sounds harder, so he's hitting it harder and he's better than everybody else. Like that's what it was.
Bigger,
it's the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, we just have numbers now to determine that. That's what this is. It's not new. It's just they have numbers to quantify what this means now. Here's the thing
sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, just to quantify those numbers for people viewing, so that if they don't want to go to the Baseball Savant page, I mean, 90th percentile in Major League Baseball in exit velo. That's unbelievable. That's average. That's average exit velo. In his max, he's at 89%, and his hard hit rate is at 80. Baseball, his walk percentage is at 98%. His chase rate is at 92%. That is huge. That means he is not chasing balls outside of the zone.
Those are don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying he's Juan Soto.
I know what you're going to say.
Those are Juan Soto type metrics right there. Like that's how rare he is. When you look at his defense,
his arm strength is in the 94th percentile. So it's not just, it's not just the offense. We've seen that he can play center field. I think with that arm strength, he's best suited to play right field. I believe that. I'm not saying that if he had to be your center fielder, he couldn't be. I think he'd be very, very good out there. Like better than, way above average, if we're going to be honest. But I do think with him in right field, like you have something out there with that arm.
Yeah, he will be playing right field to start the year. Then he might never play it again.
You could be right.
Jordan Walker is going to be a right fielder, right? Like that's kind of set in stone, I think, at this point. So Lars Nootbaar will be a right fielder probably to start the year. Lars Nootbaar will probably never play right field again, given health. Like that's I think that's what they're setting.
You sort of just ruined the entire Lars Nootbaar episode.
No, because I think Lars Nootbaar. No, I didn't. Jordan, I think he's going to be the center fielder if Dylan Carlson doesn't get his act together.
So
I think
if Tyler O'Neill, the Dylan Carlson episode.
I'm not ruining anything. What I'm saying is, I think Lars Nootbaar can play anywhere in the outfield, which is obviously valuable. And I think he will be playing somewhere. And I think where he plays is it will be determined by how everybody else is doing, because he can play everywhere. So whenever Jordan Walker's up, which we know is coming at some point, I believe he'll be playing right field when that time comes. I think Lars Nootbaar can play anywhere else. I think there's interesting comments. I want to get your take on this. At the winter meetings, which seemed forever ago now in December, John Mozeliak and Ali Marmol kind of said he's the only one that has a starting outfield job right now.
Yeah.
And it's Lars Nootbaar. With Tyler O'Neill and Dylan Carlson being, as touted as they've been since they've been a Cardinal, that's some pretty high praise and kind of shocking to hear.
Yeah. Especially when one of them is a 2-time Gold Glove winner and a top 10 MVP finisher, so who we just did our last episode on. Would you, okay, I don't like to say this, but I won't say it.
Well, it's too late. Now you have to say it.
Like, would you be shocked if come June, the outfield is Tyler, Lars, and Jordan Walker?
No, I wouldn't be.
Okay. Now, we haven't got to Dylan yet, because I do want to talk about him, and I'm hoping that Dylan Carlson comes out and makes it impossible for them not to play him in center field. That's what we're all hoping, right? Like the amount of
I love Dylan Carlson
here, the amount of stealing potential players, and I understand potential gets you fired. I get it, but the Cardinals have not had this in a long, long time with this many guys with as high a ceilings as they have. I'll include Dylan Carlson into that. But since we are talking about Lars, his versatility in the outfield, what he can do at the plate. You're talking about a guy who's had, success again. And you've talked about this before, and I'll let you talk about it now. You feel like a lot of people underappreciate him because his name's Lars Nootbaar.
I think there's a lot to do with the fact that he has I'm not going to say a funny name because that's disrespectful, but it's a very unique name, right? Lars Nootbaar. Like he trademarked for a candy bar because he knows how unique his name is. He's the only player ever to come up as not a top prospect and to have a nickname immediately. Like we were at his second game at Busch Stadium ever, and Newt was already being said everywhere. So there's that factor of it. I think it might have made people not take him seriously, kind of in the same Jeremy Hazelbaker vein. I think a lot of people kind of thought that's who he was, a guy with a unique name that may not stick for a long time because he's not that good. But I think more than that, it's the prospect pedigree. He lost 2020, and we've said this on here before, but man, when you don't have a 2020 season, and he was progressing a lot, it seems like, because 2021, he shot up in AAA. He was fantastic at over a 900 OPS that year in AAA. He didn't have that season. I believe of 2020, if he would have had a season there, you probably would have been talking about a top 10 prospect in the organization, but he lost that. So the way to evaluate him, you couldn't evaluate him. Like he was in Sauget taking batting practice. Like we've been saying this again, right. And there was no way to evaluate him. And his numbers at the minor leagues in 2021 and 2022, when he was down there, are fantastic. His numbers at the Arizona Fall League were fantastic. Since 2019 is so long ago, 2020 didn't happen. So people say, well, this success is recent. It is, but he didn't have a chance to have success in 2020. So really since 2019, he's been great. Like he has been.
Yeah. I think the other thing, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
I don't even know what I was going to say. I really don't.
Well, I think the other thing to throw into there is he played 3 years at USC. That's not like playing, low level. No offense to anybody. I'm just saying that's high. USC is a baseball fucking factory. Just are. And, I think his sophomore year, he was all conference. You're talking about a guy who was, I think, 3-time conference player of the year at El Segundo in baseball, and then twice in football. He was recruited to play Division I football as a quarterback. Ends up going to USC, drafted in the 8th round. We're not talking about a guy who's like a 20th round draft pick here. Like when you're drafted in the 8th round, that's doing something.
And I've also read some stuff that said, he kind of struggled his junior year. Not like struggled as in a normal person struggle, but as in a baseball prospect struggled. So they kind of were like, well, this guy was great his sophomore year. We have a chance to get him now on a lower year in the 8th round. We're going to take him. And
he only hit 249 his junior year. And then declared for the draft.
He really struggled. And I think they saw the potential in him. He always had that plate discipline from what I've read. No one thought he was going to end up producing the power numbers he produced last year. That was never something he ever did, but he's just hitting the ball so hard. And this is where I want to get to the Nolan Arenado comments on him. They asked him, he's kind of like the clown, right? The class clown of the baseball team, Lars Nootbaar. the energy guy, and they said, "What are your expectations for 2023, Lars Nootbaar?" And Felix laughed and said, "That's a wild question to ask." But he said, and at the beginning of the offseason, he looked like new, like he looked like he'd looked ever since he'd taken batting practice. And we're talking about a guy at this point. He's looking like new. That's looking like the baseball savant numbers we were just telling you.
Yep.
So hitting the ball hard. He said after a couple months in the offseason, it hit with him like a month ago. I think this was in December, I guess. So a little bit over a month ago, he said this. He looked like a completely different player. The ball, he's hitting the ball harder. He looked different. And he's setting records at driveline for left-handed hitters for hitting the ball hard. He's like 109.
109.
That's pretty exciting. Like Nolan Arenado's not going to blow smoke up our ass for no reason.
No.
For him to be as excited about Lars Nootbaar as I think a lot of us are, and to say he's improving on these StatCast numbers we're telling you we're elite, for him to get better at those things. I don't know what we're looking at. I also think with a guy like Lars Nootbaar, who's been very pull heavy, he hits the ball very hard to the right side. The shift's going away. That's a lot more hits opening up for him. Yeah. I think you could see a massive year for Lars Nootbaar. And I know that's not a hot take anymore, like as it was when I said it back when, like I said, nobody was listening to us at that time. Now everybody seems to be on the Nootbaar train. But man, I am excited to see what he can do this year.
Not are they only on the Nootbaar train, they seem to be on the hard 9 train. See what I did there?
I was coughing. I don't know what you said.
I said, I'm not saying it. Fuck. Why do you do that? Like
I was coughing.
I said, not only are they on the Nuke train, they're on the hard 9 train.
I don't know what I did.
That. I don't
know. Not really.
I really don't. That's good. I mean, 128 OPS plus. I mean, that's fucking incredible. Like for last year, what he did. You're not talking about a guy. He only played 108 games, 290 at bats. He's putting up elite numbers. Everybody, well, he only had 2. I love the people who he only had 290 at bats. Okay, you're right. He did. You are right. But let's go ahead and let's extrapolate that out, and let's just use our eyes. And then you also get the batting average guys who love to come in and talk about how.
Well, hold on one second. Can I say something real quick?
228. Shut up. Sorry.
Can I say something real quick? He had 290 at bats, but he had 347 plate appearances because of how much he walks. He has an elite walk rate, as you said. He walked almost as much as he strikes out, and to have a 228 batting average, which a lot of that is anchored down by the horrendous start he had while he was getting sent up and down.
Correct.
Like on the Memphis shuttle, as they've always said.
The train to Memphis.
But he had a 340 OBP with a 220 batting average. That doesn't happen. No. That's an 80-point differential from his batting average to his on-base percentage. That's a massive jump. That's because his play discipline, like you said, is among the best in baseball.
It's elite. Yeah, it's absolutely elite. And again, I feel like we say this every episode because I do believe it is one of the biggest strengths of this Cardinals team and this Cardinals roster. And I also believe that strength meshes incredibly well with our manager, Oli Marmol, and you add in Joe McEwing and you add in the staff he has around him. But just the flexibility of what Lars is going to bring to you. You said on the last podcast, you think he's going to hit second behind Donovan. I honestly would much rather have O'Neill probably hitting second if we have a healthy Tyler O'Neill. But I understand, like, you're going to have the ability to break things up with the 3-pitcher rule. I don't know that you buy into that as much as other people do. But it's going to be interesting to see if you have Lars in that 2 hole, or if you drop him down and you hit him 6th or 7th. Like, wherever you hit him, I have the feeling he's going to be very successful. But where do you think he ends up in this lineup?
Batting first.
Do what?
I think he bats first.
Okay.
And I don't know why he batted first in the playoffs, so I guess that's not necessarily like a crazy thing to say. I think Donovan. I think a lot of people really like the idea of having a guy to lead off your game that can make it 1-0, like in one pitch. Which he can do. He walks as well as anybody. You can really do either him or Donovan. I don't really care. I don't know. I guess it's just going to depend on how he's playing and how other people are doing. It's interesting because you almost look at it. I would love to have O'Neill batting second. I'd love to have a lot of other guys batting second. I'd love to have Nootbaar batting leadoff, but I also love Donovan batting there. I don't know. I just don't know. We'll see what Donovan does. Like we'll see what Newt looks like. Is he still doing what he was doing before? I do like having power in the leadoff spot. I think that is a weapon that you can utilize very effectively.
He had his second most appearances in the leadoff spot last year, outside of 9th, and he had an 831 OPS from the leadoff spot. So it is something to think about. Obviously, they know those numbers
Led off both postseason games with hits as well.
Yeah, very successful in the 7th slot as well, where he played 16 games there and he had a 1.244 OPS. Obviously these are very small sample sizes. I do understand that. But I do think, again, I think the flexibility, but I also, and we go back to it again, but I also believe the guys around him are going to make him even better. And, we've talked about who would you want the guy behind you, the guy in front. I don't think it matters with this team. I think wherever you plug and play these guys, the guys in front and the guy behind have the ability to put up massive production this year. And I really believe that Lars is in that conversation. My thing is, I'm just glad I'm not, if we're gonna be honest, I'm glad I'm not Ollie. Like, I'm glad I'm not gonna have to make the decision on what do I do with a Jordan Walker, a Juan Yepez, a Nolan Gorman, a Dylan Carlson, and a Lars Nootbaar, all under the age of 25. Add Brendan Donovan in there. Like, that's 6 guys under the age of 25 that honestly, for most teams in the major league,
25 and under.
25 and under. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. Semantics, bro. Semantics.
I'm just trying to get it accurate.
But either way, you look at that, and you throw Tyler, and he's only 28, and Tommy's 27. So yes. I mean, come on. But most of these guys would be hitting in the top 4 in most lineups in baseball, outside of maybe the top 5 lineups. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's going to be a really interesting thing to see. And I think you can ride the hot hand for a month in the 2 slot. And then if somebody cools off, you just pull the next hot hand up there and let the other guy get right in the 7 hole. I mean, also fun. Like, but the other thing is, how do you look at a guy? And I don't know. I don't know how Ollie's going to do it this year. I cannot wait to see it. We talked on the last pod. Lars will be at the World Baseball Classic, which is awesome. Or we talk about on this one? Whatever, we talked about it. Okay, we talked about it. He'll be at the World Baseball Classic, so he's going to be getting game reps. I mean, also like big time game reps. He's going to play a lot for that Japanese team.
He's playing center field apparently.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So,
I have one thing I want to say off of something.
Hey, do you think he gets Ohtani here to St. Louis?
No.
Hold on. You don't think that they're like sitting around over some sake and a sushi roll, and he says, "Hey, listen, Ohtani, like, what are you making that face for?" And I mean, that's what my uncle was.
Why couldn't they eat a cheeseburger?
My uncle was Japanese. That's what he ate.
Okay,
like, that's
hold on.
when
Can
I
we
was
stop?
see him
Can we
in
stop?
Detroit.
I had something I actually wanted to say instead of some fantastical conversation about something that's never going to happen. No, I don't think Lars Nootbaar is going to make Bill DeWitt pay $500 million, if that's what you're asking. So here's what I do want to say. I think more importantly than Lars Nootbaar being impacted by the people behind him, his on-base percentage and the fact that he grinds out at bats the way he does is going to have a really positive impact on the people behind him. Like we said last week we said it, or I said, I don't remember who said it. A lot of people talk about how much more carefully people pitch to you when somebody is on base than when the big bat is behind you. It's a big difference maker. And you have a guy like Lars Nootbaar let's be honest, he raises batting average to 250. Like, I mean, we don't care about that, but if he does, you're talking about a 370 on base percentage guy. So if we have a guy like that at the top of your order, they can also hit for power. That's just great for the rest of the lineup. And it's a guy that came out of nowhere, man. Like alongside the lines of Tommy Edman and Brendan Donovan. Like I said last time, they make their livings around 4 through 8. They really do. I don't know. Are you worried? We talked about
a world. Oh, sorry.
Are you worried that the hype is going to make it impossible for him to live up to what people are saying he could become?
For some people, that yes. I mean, we've seen that with Dylan Carlson. We've seen that with Nolan Gorman already. Like, let's relax. We played 2 years. Like, let's relax. But Gorman has played a half of a year. But yes, that for some people, they're going to write. We talked about it on the last podcast. We got people in here who have written off Tyler O'Neill. So even though we've seen what he can do, baseball, I hate to keep saying it, baseball's fucking hard. Like it is I don't know.
That's why I'm sitting here talking about it.
Than to hit a round ball, right, with a round bat coming at you and moving the way it is. Like I will still say that's the hardest thing to do skill-wise in sports. But yes, I do believe we know what there's a portion of this fan base is, unless you have 9 all-stars who are making $70 million a year, it's not enough. So we know that. Yeah. But
that is what it is.
It is. I was thinking about this earlier, and we didn't get to it on the last pod, but do you see a world where you got Lars leading off and it's Donovan in the 8 hole and Tommy Edman in the 9 hole, I mean, can you imagine Brendan Donovan hitting 8th in this lineup?
No,
Like, think
I
about that.
couldn't.
If it's
No.
O'Neill, or let's even say it's Goldie hitting 2nd, and we get 2021 O'Neill back hitting 3rd, and then you got Nolan, and then you got Contreras, and then you've got Gorman / Yepez or Walker, whatever it is, and then you got maybe it's Carlson, I don't know, or maybe it's another one of those two that I just named, and then
Or
you get
Walker.
down and it's Donovan, Brendan Donovan, and Tommy Edman hitting 8th and 9th.
You didn't even name Jordan Walker yet.
No, I did. I said, did I just say Yepez, Gorman, or Walker? I thought I said that in the
Walker's not DHing, so he's not in that conversation anyway.
Right. I'm just saying, though, in that hole. That's what I'm saying.
Here's what I would do. I'm not a manager, but here's what I would do if everyone's performing as reasonable expectations, right? So let's not say that Donovan comes out and he's not doing the same thing he did last year. Let's just say they continue what they've done. I'd have one of Nootbaar or Donovan batting first, and the other one would be batting 6th. That's what I would do. That's not going to happen, but that's what I would do because Brendan Donovan should not be batting 8th.
I'm just saying, what if
he's too good? He's too good to be getting at bats 3 times a game.
What I guess what I'm telling you is, okay, let's just think this through. Okay. We just talked about the Lars Statcast numbers. We just talked about how good he is in the leadoff spot. Right. All right. We saw that he was the leadoff guy in the postseason. So there's already that precedence right there. If he is, I mean, there's a world where he is one of the top leadoff guys in the National League. There is.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely a possibility.
Now, if we talk about we talked about on the last pod, and again, these are ifs. We understand that, but these aren't like far-reaching. You have to go up light years to get to them. If Tyler O'Neill is back healthy, there's a world where he's your number 2 hitter or your 3 hitter, which means Goldie's the other one. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we get to Nolan 4. We get
Contreras.
to Contreras 5. There is obviously a world where what I'm telling you is there's a world where it's Yepez, Walker, Gorman, Carlson in the next 2 holes.
But that's where, so this is what I would do. And this is a weird, I mean, I can't wait. After spring training, we were going to be doing more lineup. Because that's really what I want to do is do a lineup episode because we're going to have a better idea.
That's what you want to do. That's what we'll do.
Okay, but I'll do it by myself then. I don't care. I'm doing it. But what I'm saying is if you go 1 with Lars Nootbaar, you go the middle 2 through 5 with your 4 big bats, O'Neill, Carlson. I mean, sorry. O'Neill, Nolan, Goldie, Contreras. Then you start it over with Brendan Donovan's on base.
That's the old thought
6.
process.
But
that's the old lineup. That's the old lineup consideration.
But then you've got Gorman, Yepez, Carlson, Tommy, Walker for the 8-9 spot, 7-8-9.
That's what I'm saying. The old lineup construction, especially in the National League, was you got your 3, 4, 5 cleanup guys, right? And then you started back over with 6 because your pitcher was hitting 9th. We no longer have our pitcher because you want that next fast, almost your second leadoff guy hitting 6th, right? And you could do that with the DH. What I'm saying is, though, if you've got Contreras hitting 5 and you've got guys like Gorman, Yepez, Walker who are raking and driving the ball, it's going to be hard not to put them at
this
the
is like best case
spot.
Scenario.
That's why I'm
this
saying
is like a best case scenario.
It is, yes, but can you that was where I started my question. Can't you see a world where that is a thing that has happened? And now you got Brendan Donovan hitting it. This is not a slight at Brendan Donovan.
Here's what I'm saying.
Hey, think about this. Hold on. Let me finish. You get selected to an all-star game. You might hit 8th, right? Because you're an all-star. You're still an all-star, right? You're still a stud. What I'm saying is if Gorman, Yepez, or Walker, or Carlson, 2 of those guys are really raking, there's a world where Brendan Donovan is hitting 8th and Tommy Edman is hitting 9th. Now, can you imagine those guys turning it over for we're back to Lars, Tyler? That's almost hard to fathom.
If Brendan Donovan's batting has an OBP of 380 to 400 again, no, he's not batting 8th.
What if Tyler's hitting
That's elite, Dad. That is elite.
Okay, but it's not 2021 Tyler O'Neill. That's what I'm saying. That's what
right. That's why I said I'd bat him 6th. This is getting lost in translation. Dylan Carlson is most likely not going to have the offensive production that Brendan Donovan has, at least in terms of getting on base.
I guess what I was saying, and you're right, it is the best case. But if we're getting the Gorman on pace for 30 home runs or the Yepez on pace, or
everybody's healthy,
that's what I'm saying. But what I am telling you is, it sounds crazy. It's not like these guys haven't done it throughout their entire careers.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Lars Nootbaar is kind of done. I think he's kind of come in and fucked the whole thing up, honestly, for the front office.
Fucking Lars.
Like he's come in and been he was so good last year in the second half that the front office was like, damn, like we moved Walker to the outfield. We were planning on a Walker, Carlson, O'Neill outfield. We were dreaming upon it. And now we've got this guy named Nootbaar that I don't even think we remember drafting. and we got him in the 8th round.
And
of
this
the
guy named
29
Donovan. Both
Yeah,
of them
and
have
Brendan
come
Donovan,
in.
and now they both have to be left-handed options. That's why this talk that the front office had about wanting a left-handed bat, I didn't understand it. I still don't understand it.
Was the front office actually? I only heard fans
Yeah, it
on
was
Twitter
them.
talking about it.
No,
Okay.
they tried to get one
All right.
apparently, and people are thinking it was Joey Gallo or Bellinger. Why?
Right.
Why? This is why you don't ask for
Right.
payroll increases, because all it does is make them spend money stupidly. I'm glad they
Yeah.
didn't get anybody. But
Yeah.
man, like we haven't even talked about Alec Burleson, who was one of the best
Right.
players in AAA last year. Moises Gomez hit 40 bombs in
Right.
AA and AAA last year. And we're talking about a lineup that, I mean, honestly, we need a little league lineup to fill these guys in there. We need 11 guys or something. Like it doesn't.
And it's funny too. Like we hit on this a couple of pods ago. We haven't even we've only in the last 6 pods we said Mason Wynn's name like once. Like that guy is a fucking dude. Do you know what I like? And he's on his way. So
prospect.
I'll say it again. It could be right. It could be an embarrassment of riches that you're sitting on right now. It could be. They also
and that's where
they
the
could
trade
also
deadline
all
comes
be
into play.
They could also all be Fugazi and suck. We don't know.
No,
I don't think that's going to happen. But I do believe, and I understand what you're saying about hitting Donovan 6. I truly do. But I also do believe there is a world where Brendan Donovan is hitting 8th in this lineup if everything is clicking. I'm not saying it's going to. Like, obviously, the stars have to align. It has to happen. But I'm also not saying that's not a possibility. Realize, guys, Michael Harris was in AA last year, and nobody ever thought that he was going to be on the Braves, let alone hitting 2nd in the postseason at one point in time, hitting 3rd in the postseason at one point in time, and winning Rookie of the Year. So that's all I'm saying is you also had Grissom in the lineup. Like nobody saw that coming last year.
Yeah, I have a question for you. Now more actually, I think it's more of a statement, maybe. I don't think we've ever gone into, since at least not recently, to a spring training where there is more opportunity and competition in the outfield. Like normally it's like we have 3 guys. We have Piscotty, Grichuk, and Fowler, but we don't like any of them really all that much. But we have those 3 guys and they're going to be starting. Right now, you legitimately have 5, 6 guys going to be fighting for a spot, while 2 guys, like we said, are going to be in the WBC. I think you're in a great spot where it's going to be whoever's playing well wins the job. And if some guy can rise above, like you need Tyler O'Neill and Lars Nootbaar and maybe Carlson, maybe Walker, whomever. If some of those guys, like they have an opportunity to really rise above, but I think in order to do that, in order to get your job, you're going to have to be really good because the other guys behind you are really good.
Let me ask you, this is a 2-parter. Okay. So stick with it. And it's going to be long-winded because that's how my mind works sometimes. I hate to say, is there a world? Because I think I already said that to you. But
you have like 4 times.
Is there a chance that Tyler O'Neill or Lars Nootbaar get Wally pipped because Alec Burleson, Jordan Walker, and Dylan Carlson put up such a great spring training that it's those in front of us versus those away from us? Like, let's say Lars and Tyler are at the World Baseball Classic. Like, do you see where I'm going with this question? Like, is there a point where those guys, the other 3 are so damn good, and you haven't gotten to see Tyler and Lars in your lineup who are battling for positions? Like, how do you that's my second point. How would you handle that situation with 2 of the guys who are battling for positions, even though Mo has come out essentially and said Lars is the guy, but they still are. Like, you've got 6 guys battling for 4 spots. How would you handle that situation? And with that first question, do you see a world where one of them gets Wally pipped by the World Baseball Classic?
No, on the Wally Pip of the World Baseball Classic. I don't.
So you think they could just go and do whatever and they're still like, if you're Tyler O'Neill and you're not guaranteed the starting left fielder, I guess it's part 3 to my question. Like, you're away from the team. I'm not saying he shouldn't go to Canada. I think that's fucking awesome. We know that.
Hold on. Canada sucks. He's not going to be gone very long. Okay.
Hey,
he's not
Joey Votto.
That he's not playing. He's injured.
Oh yeah.
It's Tyler O'Neill and Freddie Freeman versus everybody else.
Yeah.
It's Tyler O'Neill and Freddie Freeman and nobody else. Like, that's who it is. So Tyler O'Neill will be back relatively soon because they're not going anywhere. Lars Nootbaar, Japan could win it all. They really could. They have a team that's built to be able to do something like that, and they won it all 2 World Baseball Classics ago, I believe. No, because I think if those 2 are healthy, they're not gonna say this. Okay, I think those 2 are guaranteed to be starting on opening day if they're healthy.
So you believe
hold on. The guys I think it's gonna be Dylan Carlson versus Jordan Walker.
So you think Alec Burleson and Moises Gomez are just depth pieces that are going to be at AAA?
I don't think the Cardinals, and this might wrong or right or wrong. Okay, I don't know. I haven't watched either enough in the minor leagues to know. I don't think the Cardinals want either of those two playing the field very often.
Okay.
From what I've read that
Okay.
Moises Gomez is just crazy and just throws balls over second baseman's head.
Well, we got it. Like we said this last time, we're going to have somebody on hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Let me get through Mardi Gras. Have somebody on so we can talk about the minor. Let's get into spring training a little bit, and then we'll have somebody on.
Before we do that, I do want to say one more thing.
Sure.
Alec Burleson and Moises Gomez are very interesting, but they have to produce so much with the bat in order to be as valuable as Tyler O'Neill and Lars Nootbaar, because those two play so well in the field that they're always providing you some sort of value, because they're going to save you runs if they're not gaining you any on offense. Moises and Alec Burleson, they really only have one side of the field to gain you anything. They might be average in the field, but they're not going to be saving you runs like the other two can.
All right, follow-up question to the 3 questions I just asked before. Okay. How much
I feel
better?
Like I'm in like an interrogation room.
Yeah, you are. Where's the bright light? Well, you're in a fucking jail cell still, so you might as well be in an interrogation room. I'm waiting for like a big nails up on the wall guy in a suit to come in and offer you a Diet Coke. Don't drink it, by the way. Then they got your DNA. I'm just letting you know. Don't do it. Yeah, but I know either way,
I've seen it.
I'll see now. I forgot. Oh no, how much? Okay, this is a great question. I think how much better does Jordan Walker? I am. How much better do you think Jordan Walker has to be than Dylan Carlson to beat him out? I think if Jordan, in your world, hold on, sorry. If in your world, Lars and Tyler are already starting left and right. Do you see what I'm saying?
Not left and right, just starting.
Okay, starting. Okay. That's good. Well, 2 left field spots and 2 of the right field spots from.
Okay. Well, okay. Here's what I think. I think there's a world where the corner spots are O'Neill and Walker, and Carlson and Nootbaar are platooning in center field. I think there's a world where that happens because Dylan Carlson's an elite bat against lefties. I think if Jordan Walker.
That's interesting, by the way.
That's what I would do.
How long you been sitting on that, dandy?
I think I might have said that on here before.
I didn't.
Either way, look. I mean, that's how you maximize your lineup, right? That's what Ollie's really good at. Jordan Walker, if he goes out there and I don't care about numbers, because spring training, like you could hit the ball hard 5 times and be out 5 times. Like very small amount.
Correct. 100%.
If he goes out there and he is smoking the ball and looks like he's ready, say he gets out there and we're facing the Mets and he does something against Verlander and DeGrom and he looks great, or whatever the case is. I think they're going to look for a reason to bring him up and not a reason to send him down.
I think makes
sense.
Do you think the number one thing that they're going to look at is defense? Like everything I've read says that's the thing that might keep him at AAA is that there is talk within the organization that they think he needs more games in the outfield before he comes up to the major leagues. Now, obviously, he's 20 years old. He just moved to the outfield last year. We understand that. Evidently, he played center field in the Arizona Fall League and played it very well. He's not going to probably play center field here. He's probably going to play right field. Right. But again, I guess, all right. So if Jordan, I feel like we're still getting ahead of ourselves here. But I think it's an interesting talk because of the Lars talk.
I have a question. Isn't this what we wanted to save for the Jordan Walker player?
It is. That's on me.
So let's stop this conversation.
We'll table it. That's what they say in the business world. We'll table it.
That was a sneak peek, I guess. But
I think popped into my head.
Are you gonna keep going? Are you gonna keep going?
No, it just popped into my head.
We also just talked about Dylan Carlson too. Like I've been sitting on all of this for the 2 Dylan Carlson and Jordan Walker episodes.
Well, I'll forget it. So just bring it back out. Don't worry.
Okay. Well, anyway, Lars Nootbaar, who this is supposed to be about. I don't know. I think we've said it all. I don't really have much else to say. I think I'm interested to see it. There's a world where he comes out, he's not the guy we think he's going to be. But there's a world where he comes out, he's an all-star. Like I think that's the range of the outcomes for him but I don't know if he's ever going to be an unproductive player because he does so many things well. That's what I think about him.
After this pod, I'm outlawing the phrase, there's a world where.
Did I say that?
4 times in 2 seconds.
I said that?
Yeah, and I said it earlier twice. So it's me too. But we're eliminating.
Now I'm gonna be
no longer use it. It's done. It's dead.
Well, we can't like
how Ben and Jerry's has the cemetery of the flavors they don't use. We should have a cemetery of the phrases we're not using anymore. There's a world where it's one of them.
We should have a cemetery where our Jordan Walker player profile episode is going to lay, because we can no longer do it.
No. It's gonna be smoking hot. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be. If you listen to the last 5 minutes, it's just gonna be the same thing again. No, I got so many more things.
One more.
I got so many more things I want to talk about with Jordan Walker. But
Yeah,
like, we can bring that up also. Hey, I think they call that's good callback. If we already talked about it, but let's talk about it again and go further in depth.
Yeah.
Good.
Here's what's interesting to me about this whole outfield thing. I said this earlier. It's very difficult to talk about one without talking about the other.
It is.
Because
I wanted to do one segment and you made us do 4.
What that guy does and can do, what the other 3 guys do very much dictates what Lars Nootbaar can do. If Dylan Carlson, Jordan Walker, and Tyler O'Neill are fantastic, and maybe they're all playing out of their mind, maybe Lars Nootbaar's not playing. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. There's a world. It's almost like a headache. I'm glad. Like you said, I'm glad on Ollie Marmol. I have never seen a Cardinals offense that had this much talent on.
No, potential. Like I said, we've said this before and we keep saying it, but it's true. Like,
the funniest part about it, Dad, though, we might get to July and we'll be like, we need a fucking outfielder.
Well, we could, but
it could happen.
I mean, it does seem to happen. Like, it does seem to happen, but I am so geeked to see, like, again, 25-year-old Lars Nootbaar. We'll get to 23-year-old Dylan
entering
Carlson.
His prime, dude.
We'll get to 20-year-old Jordan Walker. We talked about 23-year-old Nolan Gorman. We've got 25-year-old Brendan Donovan, 27-year-old Tommy Edman, and 28-year-old Tyler O'Neill. We've yet to get to 20-year-old Mason Wynn. And how old's Yepez?
25, 26.
And Moises Gomez, probably in that same range, 23, 24, 25.
He's young, yeah.
Yeah, it's
really crazy what they built. But
yeah, I'm excited. I'm almost okay. I am really. Let me say this. I'm really excited about the World Baseball Classic. I'm also kind of pissed that it's happening because I would love to see all of this play out in spring training.
Yeah, I'm also nervous about how many players we have playing in the World Baseball Classic, but that's a different conversation, I guess. I just want everybody to be healthy. That's all. I hope Tyler O'Neill hits. I hope they play 2 games or whatever the minimum is. They lose both of them.
I think they play Tyler. 3, right?
I hope he hits a home run in both. And I hope he hits a home run in every game. That's what I hope.
Okay.
Happens.
And then it's back here. Yeah. Okay.
Wearing his Canadian like jorts or whatever he wears.
Oh. Where are they playing that pool? Do you know where Canada's pool is playing?
No idea.
I don't either. I need to look that up. I was going to look that up and see where they are.
I know Tommy has like an 18-hour flight to get to where he's playing.
Yeah, I saw that. I need to look up where Canada is because U.S. is in Phoenix, which we were really trying to go to, but now we've got our sights set on the All-Star game. I'm doing my best. We're making that happen.
Yeah, and 4 years maybe we'll have a chance to go to the WBC then.
Yeah, we're getting to the All-Star game this year somehow. Yeah. If there's anybody out there, if there's anybody who's really and highly wealthy and loves our podcast, first of all, please go ahead and subscribe. But also, if you want to send us to Seattle, we're listening. We're listening.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Nothing else about Lars?
I don't know. I feel like we went on.
Have you tried the candy bar?
No, he hasn't made it yet. I don't think
it's not out yet. I didn't know.
No,
I don't know.
I think this episode felt like one big tangent, and I don't even know. Honestly, I might watch it back because I have no idea what we even talked about.
I'm not gonna lie though, dude. I get it, but that's how that's the only way my mind can work right now with this team. Is one big tangent because you say this, and it leads to this, which then takes you to this, which then brings up what about this. And then the next thing you know, you're back where you started, but then it's going left to what about that?
It's like no matter what you say.
You think Ollie's sleeping at all?
He might be sleeping really well because he knows no matter what he does, he has a good player playing there. But here's the thing that bothers me about talking about this, because I have a problem where I watch every game, the whole game. Every single game. It's really.
Do you and your girlfriend ever do anything together? Do you guys go out and do anything together?
Yeah, but I just will be paying attention to never mind. Okay, let's not go there. But I've grown emotional attachment. I grow an emotional attachment to these people. So when I say, I think Lars Nootbaar's playing, I think Tyler O'Neill's playing, and then I realize that leaves me one spot for Jordan Walker and Dylan Carlson, and I love both of them. I hate it. I hate it.
That's why when you say this episode and these episodes feels like a tangent, they have to be. I don't know how you could clearly organize it without thinking about something else that pops up when you say I don't know what else to do. And I apologize for the way your fandom is because that's my fault.
Yeah, it's okay. But how do we sum this up?
I should just handed you a guitar when you were 4.
You tried to. I sucked at it. How do we sum this up about Lars? Like, what? Okay, let's do this. Expectations versus what do you think the best outcome is, the worst outcome is, and what are your expectations?
Well, here's
Those are
what
my
sucks. I was coming in
three-parter.
prepared to say you could hit 20 bombs this year, but now all I can think about is him platooning with Dylan Carlson, which you brought up, which I had not even thought about, not once, and you didn't let me know anything about that. And that's all I can think about, and how awesome that platoon could be, to where they both could hit 15 to 20 home runs in 80 games, and now you get 30 jacks out of your center field. That's all I can think about, with Jordan Walker hitting 6th or 7th, winning Rookie of the Year, and us getting a draft pick. So that's where I'm at.
Tyler
right
O'Neill winning MVP and left.
Boom. I don't even have.
Okay,
now, my whole. I came in with an idea, and it's gone. It's gone.
So what you're saying is I'm a genius.
I think that was brilliant. Yeah. Have you talked to Ali?
No, I haven't.
Can we get him? Can you get a hold of him so we can get him on so we can talk about this?
I would love to talk to Ali. He seems like one of
Yeah.
the smarter people.
Let's get him on here.
Can you answer my question? So
Yeah, I don't know now. Like
okay, well, this isn't gonna happen. This is what I thought. My 20-year-old, no managerial experience, on my couch when I was watching highlight videos.
Dude, you were like ranked in MLB The Show. Like, you have managerial
that's nothing
experience.
to do with anything.
You're better than Shilton Matheny already.
That's once again, it says nothing. No offense, Schultz. Much offense, Matheny. You sucked.
I don't know. I don't. What do you give me yours first, because my mind can't wrap around things right now.
His ceiling is an all-star that bats first every day.
Okay.
His floor is a 4th outfielder.
Okay.
And what I expect is 15, 20 home runs, 330 to 350 OBP, and a 4-win player. That's what I expect.
Okay.
We can exceed
that. Let's go with that.
Below it. That's
okay. Well, do you think to be a 4-win player, he's not probably platooning?
If you're platooning as a left-handed bat, you're playing 80% of the games.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm on it. Right now, all I can think about is a world where Brendan Donovan is hitting 8.
I do think it's fair.
And now you threw the wrench in there with Carlson, and then I got Jordan Walker and Gorman hitting 6, 7 in my lineup. That's where I'm at right now, and I'm going to go make myself a Manhattan and have to sit down and put my feet up.
I think there are people screaming at the screen right now. Lars Nootbaar's stats versus lefties were really good last year. They were really.
So
good.
were Brendan Donovan's.
Yes, but they were really good. But guess whose they weren't better than? Dylan Carlson's.
Which side is Tommy better from? I always forget.
He's better right-handed, swinging right-handed. But he's a shortstop, so he's playing there every day.
Okay, now I just went to another spot.
Okay, but don't, because he's our shortstop.
Okay, all right. We got it. It's nailed. We're on.
You know what's funny? Your mic has some kind of like it has something in it where when you make loud noises, it doesn't pick it up. So every time you clap,
Amazon, baby.
Every time you clap, it's just dead silent.
It doesn't pick.
No.
Nothing. Dead.
Silent. And it's really awkward because it's like you're just.
So you can't hear the clap. You clap. I can't hear it either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's weird. It's funny. Okay, let's not play games on here.
I'm not, but that's wild. That's wild.
Technology.
I won't clap anymore. Okay, I'm
Stop staring at me. This has gone to a weird place. Our retention rate.
There's a world where people go to Colorado and Oregon, and they go on these 4-day like hallucinogenic like things for PTSD.
Are you talking? Oh, I thought you were talking about Aaron Rodgers.
And their minds are incredibly open when it's all said and done. They come out a different human. That's what the last 10 minutes of this podcast just did for me.
I feel like our retention rate on this podcast, our average watch time, is going to be like 3 minutes.
No. I disagree. I think the majority of one, no offense, men, 2 Cardinal fans, 3 baseball fans, are in the exact same thought process.
Especially baseball fans that listen to podcasts before spring training.
Yes.
Yes. By the way, if you're listening to this and you hear this now, please let us know that you stayed. And if you're in the same boat as us, because it could just be us sitting here in a fantasy land while everyone else is sitting here saying we need another big bat. We think we have like the greatest center field platoon to ever exist.
Also, those of you that have stuck around, thank you, by the way. Well, I don't know what you're doing tonight, but thank you. If you could go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because we got some pretty cool stats from YouTube. Like we're getting like almost 80% return listeners
Returning
for most
viewers.
of our podcasts, which is awesome. Thank you, by the way, for that. But we also need to just if you could hit that subscribe button, that really does help us. Also, like I said, it gets you the notification with that little bell right next to it. So it's a win-win. Hopefully your brain didn't get too tripped out by this, but like I said, that you threw a complete wrench into my entire Cardinal Lars Nootbaar thought process, but I like it. It was a good one. We do have Dylan Carlson and Jordan Walker coming up in the next week. I do have family coming down. We got parades tonight, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday morning. I think we're doing one, I know, but maybe before that. But Tuesday morning, we're going to see Galactic at 5 a.m. to kick off Mardi Gras and then head into the parade. After that, Wednesday and Thursday, I'm just sleeping for 48 hours.
I'll be at school.
Case of Celsius. How many of those should I drink in a day?
Celsius's?
Yeah, to keep up with the booze. I got the energy drinks.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not experiencing the Celsius drinking.
I'm going to let you know how this all goes. I can't wait. I'm excited, but I'm now more excited for Lars. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I am excited for Lars Nootbaar. I think he seems like maybe the coolest dude. I love him. I love his energy. I love his quirkiness. I love the fact that he followed around Nolan like a little puppy, kind of like Yepez followed around Pools. Like that's what you should do when you get up there. And I love that now they become buddies and that he got Nolan to drive line. We saw what Nolan did last year. We talked about that on a previous podcast. I think Lars Nootbaar only brings good vibes to this team. I think he only brings good production to this team. I think he is such a valuable part to this team, which is why we saw him not get traded in the offseason. That's how I'll finish up my Lars Nootbaar episode here.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. And everyone wanted him, it seemed like. The reason that I went down this platoon role, which might be highly unrealistic, I don't know. I don't talk to anybody in the organization. They don't even know who I am.
Maybe you should.
We'll see.
They're going to know who we are soon.
Okay, let me get my point out, please, before we say things that probably aren't going to happen anyway. What I'm saying is, I want so badly to find a way to get everybody into the lineup because I like them all very much, and I think they're all very talented. So I think that's a good spot to be in when you're trying to find spots to platoon guys. You don't really want a platoon, to be quite honest, because you want them to play every day. But that's a good spot. And like I said, this is best case scenario. There will be injuries. So you might be looking at a spot where I'm looking at the playoffs last year. We thought we had a good lineup in July. Corey Dickerson, Juan Yepez were in the outfield. No one thought that was going to happen in the playoffs. So given health, they're going to be stacked. And I'm excited to see where that goes.
I think the one thing, and I'll end it like this, and if you have anything to say, you feel free to end it from there. I do believe the number one role of a professional manager coach is, one, to be a human and to treat your players like grown men. Or women if you're in WNBA or whatever, right? But I think that's one. I think it's two, to put your players, regardless of anything else, in the best position every time they either take the floor, take the field, take the ice, whatever, take the court, to succeed. And sometimes that hurts egos. It does. But I also think that in the end, it wins championships. And that's why we have Ollie here. And I think if it means less at bats for a lot of people, but more wins for the Cardinals, that in the overall grand scheme, why we're here. And I think that is something that I do believe we have the right guy filling out the lineup every night for the Cardinals. I will say that.
Yeah. And Nolan said at the one-on-one that Ollie was the best manager he ever had. I don't know if we've covered that yet, but he did say Ollie was the best manager he'd ever had. And
we did in the Nolan episode.
Yeah, and he said his honesty, and he tells you where you stand. You don't have to guess where you stand. Yep. Which, like you just said, if he tells you where you stand, hey, you're going to be in this role right now. Dylan Carlson, one of our top prospects, and well, you're not playing well against righties right now. So last year on the stretch, you're getting platooned. That's not an easy conversation to have. Hey, Albert Pujols, one of the greatest hitters of all time. Right. You're not playing against righties at the beginning of the year. Like, he's done a great job with that.
Yep.
So I do think he's the right guy to be doing that. We've said that a lot. We're a very pro Ollie podcast, and we will continue to be until he makes us lose a game and we both get angry, and then we say something we don't mean.
Yeah, like I said, I think that's a manager's number one role is communication. Treat your players like humans, and then put them in the right position to succeed. Because, and then the reaction is like, for every action there's a equal reaction, something like that. I do believe then the reaction is, does the player step up or do they pout? And we'll see. And I don't think the Cardinals have powders on this. And if they do, I don't think they'll be here long. So,
Nope.
you know,
I don't. They don't have
that's
powers.
what's
They have a.
I'm
It's
geeked
really
for
a
Lars.
great
I'm
group of
geeked
guys,
for this
man.
outfield. I'm now geeked for this lineup even more, which we will talk about later. I am really excited. Pitchers and catchers are going. We'll get everybody else will be there as soon as they keep coming in droves. So, I mean, they'll probably all be there very soon. And before you know it, you're going to see spring training baseball. We got college baseball on deck. You've got the WBC coming up. Football, we can put to rest. Obviously, you've got the NBA and the NHL, fine, but it's baseball season as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
All right. Good follow up there. Appreciate that.
I've got nothing else. I mean, I have nothing else. I'm so
All
hungry right now.
Once again,
I
thank
haven't
you guys.
eaten in a long time.
Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. We greatly appreciate you. If at any point in time we come up in a casual conversation, we would appreciate that. For you to tell all your friends, we'd love to have the more the merrier. You can find us on the socials right here. Obviously, you can find us on Facebook at Hard9 Pod. And if you would, please just hit that little subscribe button before you get out of here. We greatly appreciate all of you. Have an amazing weekend. Stay safe. Be kind to each other, and we'll talk to you soon.